What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today we've got a really fun video for you. I was going into my vault and I decided what I wanted to do was show the various god rolls that I have on primary weapons in this game. So we're going to show one god roll weapon of each type of primary weapon. So we've got an auto rifle, a hand cannon, a pulse rifle, and a scout rifle. So if you enjoy this video, go ahead and smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now when I say god roll, I definitely mean god roll. I don't mean pretty good roll. I mean this is definitely going to be considered pretty much the best that you can possibly hope for. Now that doesn't mean it's the only choice, the only perfect roll that you can get on a specific weapon, but it's definitely one of the most perfect. And again, this is only the stuff that I have in my vault. You might have some of these very same guns with some of the exact same rolls, and I definitely want to hear about what your god roll primary legendary weapons are, because it's really awesome to hear the cool stuff that people are using in the game. What I'm also going to do is show some comparable really good roll weapons that I have, but again, there's only going to be one god roll for each weapon class that I end up showing. I'm just going to show some of the comparable weapons just to see how good they are and how close they came. Starting off with the auto rifle, we've got pretty much the very first weapon that I put up to light level 335 since the April update, and that's my arminius-d that I ended up grabbing from Bungie. I grabbed 3 different arminius-d packages from Bungie, and I held onto them and held onto them and held onto them until I finally got the roll that I wanted. And number 1 was I wanted counterbalance. Counterbalance is pretty much the roll that makes these auto rifles go. That plus brace frame is going to give me a ton of stability at the cost of some bullets in my magazine. So these things and this basic damage profile is pretty much like a doctrine of passing, but what separates it actually is crowd control. So crowd control is something that the doctrine of passing can't have, and that's going to give me some extra damage when mobbing, or even some surprise extra damage in PvP. And with counterbalance in my range scope, I'm actually going to be able to deal out damage on a target from much further away than I could with any other type of auto rifle. It's really nice to be able to do that, and what I just wanted to show first off is how this compares to the doctrine of passing. So again, my doctrine of passing is actually going to fall into the very good category, but not a god roll. Again, the doctrine is going to roll pretty much standard with every perk except for the last one. If I had counterbalance on my doctrine, it would be right up there with the arminius-d, and I'd have a really tough choice to make between the persistence or the crowd control of the 2 guns. Another really good, and this gun is actually a god roll as well. I'm not even gonna lie. This gun is another perfect god roll, and this came from Lord Saladin. But I like the damage profile of the arminius-d better than the Hakon's hatchet, so that's why I picked the arminius-d for this spot. But this gun is absolutely perfect. Rangefinder, perfect balance for all that stability, and counterbalance as well, so no horizontal recoil on this. This Hakon's hatchet, a lot of you probably have that as well, but I'm going with the arminius-d for my choice for the auto rifles, but both of them are pretty much as perfect can get. And what's really cool about this weapon is, whenever I use it in some various videos, I always get a ton of comments and questions asking, what's the auto rifle that I'm using? It's the arminius-d. And whenever I hear that, I recognize that there are still a lot of people that just don't do those Banshee bounties. They don't level up Banshee the gunsmith, and that's why I always try to keep doing those Banshee videos, because I really want to get the word out that you're going to get some of the best legendary guns that you can possibly get in the game just from leveling up Banshee, just from picking up Banshee's packages each week. It's really nice, and I strongly recommend doing that. And this arminius-d has received just a ton of questions about it. They always say that it looks cool. You really have to kind of get used to that muzzle flash, but you know, I'm gonna go ahead and take that as an okay challenge to do, because it's worth the trade-off. So we've already got our auto rifle. Let's move on to the hand cannon. And my god roll hand cannon is my Ufern. And I just love the style of the Ufern and Omlon type weapons in general. I love the futuristic look on them. I love how they pretty much show off their geometric shapes as you're looking at them. They're really sharp looking and just some of my favorite looking guns in the game. Now this Ufern is relatively new to me. I grabbed an Ufern package probably 3 months ago and held onto it and held onto it and held onto it. I wanted to get luck in the chamber on it with some awesome rolls. Pretty much with this damage profile, I am able to 2-shot headshot guardians in the crucible if I get luck in the chamber to proc, and I grabbed rifle barrel for that extra range. You can see with this roll, I end up having a ton of range on this gun and a ton of stability. It's just a really nice combination. And you couple that with life support, which whenever I happen to get one of my narrow escapes, which I get all the time, I will have a chance to actually regenerate my life. So that is really nice. And let's also look at the magazine. So a magazine of 7 sounds really low, and yeah, it is for PvE. But in PvP, a magazine of 7 actually works out really, really well for luck in the chamber, because that means that I'm starting with a 1 in 7 chance of luck in the chamber proccing, and those odds are only going to get better as I fire off my shots. So a smaller magazine with luck in the chamber is really nice. That's actually exactly what you want to strive for. This Ufern is definitely as good as it gets. The only other hand cannon I have that really kind of comes close is my Devil You Know, and you can see by just looking at the stats already, the raw stats of the Devil You Know just aren't coming close. It does have luck in the chamber, and I can increase the range a little bit with hand loaded, but it's just not coming close to what I have with my Ufern. And my first perk, I'm not digging it as much as I enjoy the life support perk. So Devil You Know, very good. Ufern, God roll. And again, the Ufern is yet another Banshee weapon. So you could get it from completing Banshee, leveling up Banshee, getting it from a random package from Banshee, or if he's selling the Ufern packages, you could pick it up and just hold on to it until you yourself get a roll pretty much exactly the same or similar. It might take a while. Pretty much that's what you have to go through with Banshee. If you really want one of these amazingly rolled weapons, you really have to commit at least one space in your inventory to it. For me, I would say it is definitely worthwhile to have a weapon like this at my side, to be able to put on a legendary weapon that can deal out significant damage and not waste an exotic spot is really worth it to me, because it just gives more flexibility to the game. This Ufern is really cool, really fun, and I hope if you end up picking one up that you get an incredible roll on it as well. For the pulse rifle, we've got the Hawksaw. I actually have a little bit of a soft spot for this Hawksaw because it ended up letting me open up my eyes to this lower impact style of pulse rifle. I never used to enjoy them because I could never get them to work well. Well, you know why I can? Because this one has counterbalance, and this is the one that you can buy right now from the Crucible vendor. If you haven't picked this up, what are you doing? If you haven't picked this up and you play PvP, what are you doing? This gun is phenomenal, and it's just perfect. Look at that stability. Plus counterbalance means you do not have to worry about any kind of crazy recoil patterns. And that's what's so good about counterbalance, not having to worry about the recoil patterns. Because I had a really, really nicely rolled and nice looking Hawksaw before, but I couldn't do anything with it because I wasn't getting my shots to group up on the head like I can with this gun. It's just so much easier when you have counterbalance, and I'm telling you, pick up this gun from the Crucible vendor if you haven't already, especially if you like pulse rifles. You're going to absolutely destroy with it. And just to show you a little bit of a comparison, this is my Aegis of the Reef, and I got it from Varix, and it's got one of those perks that everybody looks for on their pulse rifles in Headseeker, but it's just not as good in practice. It just doesn't work as well. It's got stats that are pretty much on par. I've got a ton of stability on this gun, even a little bit more than the Hawksaw. I've got Headseeker, which everybody wants, but because I don't have counterbalance on it, my shots don't group on the head as well as they do with the Hawksaw. So this Aegis of the Reef, it's really good, but it's not perfect. The Hawksaw that you can buy straight from the gate, no RNG required, is perfect. It's a god roll. And I think that's one of the nicest things about this video, the fact that with this gun, you can buy it. You can absolutely buy it, and you don't have to worry about RNG. You don't have to worry about bad luck or good luck or anything like that. You just go ahead and buy it. And I guess that's kind of a similar thing with the Banshee packages, because you pick them, and as long as you can just stay patient, you're pretty much going to walk away with a god tier weapon, or at least a really, really good roll. As long as you stay patient with your Banshee packages, you're going to come away as a winner. You're going to be a winner. So just something to keep in mind. As we move on to our last weapon, we're going to take a look at our scout rifles. So far we've got our auto rifle, hand cannon, and pulse rifle in the bank. And for my God Roll Scout Rifle, we've got the Suros DIS-43. Look at this monster gun that we've got here for a Scout Rifle. It's got that nice impact, and the rate of fire, it's supposed to be a slower firing type of Scout Rifle, but I have full auto on it, and that makes this thing just pepper out the shots, not to mention the fact that I have a ton of range and a ton of stability on it. In fact, I'm actually going for stability and sacrificing a little bit of the range in this gun, and I think that is totally fine in this gun because it's already got so much range already. This gun is an absolute monster, and you guessed it, I got it from Banshee. So 3/4 of my God Roll weapons that I have came from Banshee. What does that tell you? It tells you that Banshee is definitely worth doing. And what I want to do right now is I just want to show you it in comparison to the Mida, a gun that is unquestioned one of the best scout rifles and best weapons in the game in PvP. Now obviously it's not going to be as great as the Mida, but if you look at those raw stats, it's not doing too bad, and with full auto, it is firing out extremely quick, much quicker than you could fire it if you were just pulling the trigger normally. So I'm not saying my Suros DIS-43 is as good as the Mida, but it's pretty dang good, and just looking at the stats you can see that this thing has a ton of potential. So if you happen to see it come up in Banshee's weapon packages, pick it up and hope for a full auto roll with a lot of stability. Now for my really good gun, it pains me so much, but it's this Treads Upon Stars, and you know how much I hate the Treads Upon Stars. The fact that I'm showing it in this video, it's gotta tell you how good this roll actually is. It's got the same type of damage profile, though it has less stability, but this gun is a little bit more suited to PvE type play. So I've got Triple Tap and Firefly, which everybody loves in PvE. I think I should actually probably run Field Scout instead of Small Bore. I think I already have enough range and stability for PvE, so no sense in lowering my magazine size any more than it already is. Overall though, the rolls are really great for PvE, and you know, as much as I hate the Treads Upon Stars, I didn't delete that one. So it's a pretty good roll, but this Suros DIS-43, it's going to be my monster, it's going to be my God Roll Scout Rifle. This thing really just hits like a truck. I don't use it enough. I feel like I should. Every once in a while, I happen to remember that I have it, and I put it on for a Nightfall. And in the Nightfalls, that's kind of where this thing is really shining, because with each bullet that you fire out, it deals some significant damage, and it fires off the shots so quickly. It's just really nice. You can see how stable it actually is. If I was just a better shot in general, I'd be able to just mow through all of those things, getting headshots galore. But I love just holding on the trigger and then aiming after I'm holding on to the trigger. So this Suros DIS-43 has that really nice damage profile. It's firing off really fast. It can easily take down enemies. It's definitely my God Roll. So we've got this Suros DIS-43, we've got my arminius-d, we've got my Ufern, and we've got the Vendor Hawksaw. Those are my 4 God Roll primary weapons that I use and that I have on my characters. Again, let me know what your God Roll primaries are, whether you've got them from RNG, whether you purchased them from a vendor, or you happen to get them to drop from Banshee or held them for a Banshee package. What are you rocking out in the game? What type of awesome, incredible weapons are you rocking out? What should I be looking out for? Because maybe that's the thing. Maybe there are some awesome weapons that you have that I haven't even thought of. And maybe I'll just come around and be like, you know what? Whenever I see that, I'm going to be really striving for that. Because that's kind of one of the things in this game. You know, I've got all the exotics, so what I'm going to be grinding for in that carrot on the stick is probably the next awesome legendary weapon that I could get. And who knows, that could be a weapon that you suggest or that you have, and you mention it in the comment section below. So we had our winning weapons, we had weapons in my inventory that came so close, but fell just a little bit short, and overall I just wanted to show off these weapons because I think that they are ones that you should definitely look for and try to add into your arsenal, because they can definitely be useful in a variety of different circumstances. So if you happen to like these weapons, again, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're looking for any of them, then I wish you a lot of luck. You can see that I got most of them from Banshee. So my suggestion, my number one suggestion, go visit Banshee. Do anything that Banshee wants. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, the Taken King, and I'll see you around in Destiny. If someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.